Have you ever flipped through your pocket change, hoping to strike gold or copper in this case? Well, today, I've got some mind-blowing news for you. In 1964, the Abraham Lincoln penny could be worth a jaw-dropping $1.8 million. Yes, you heard that right. $1.8 million. For a penny. That's like buying a Ferrari with a single coin. Or, a lifetime supply of tacos. Stick around because I'm going to break down why this little coin is worth a fortune, how you can spot one, and whether you've been walking around with a millionaire in your pocket. And, spoiler alert, you don't want to skip this, because I've got a wild story about my own penny disaster that might just save you from making the same mistake. Let's start with the basics. The 1964 D. Lincoln penny. What makes it so special? First, the D stands for Denver, where it was minted. Most 1964 D pennies are as common as bad hair days. But there's a rare version that collectors are dying to get their hands on, and it's this unicorn of a penny that's valued at $1.80 million. Why so much? Well, it's all about minting errors and rarity. Back in 1964, the US Mint had a little mishap, as they sometimes do. Some pennies were struck with an experimental planchet, a fancy word for the metal disc used to make coins. Instead of the usual copper alloy, these special pennies were made with a blend that was never meant to leave the mint. They're like the coin world's version of a misprinted book or a rare Pokemon card. Now, let me share a quick story. A couple of years ago, I was at a flea market, the kind where you find vintage everything, and this guy had a bucket full of pennies for sale. I thought, why not? And spent $5 on the whole thing. I took them home, dumped them on the table, and started looking for hidden treasures. After hours of squinting and Googling, I found a 1964 D penny. My heart was racing. Could it be the penny? Turns out, nope. It was just a regular old penny with some sticky gum residue. Gross. If I had known then what I know now, I would have checked for the key details. The rare 1964 D penny is lighter than a regular one. You'll need a scale that can measure in grams. It has a slightly silvery tone because of the experimental alloy. Like anything valuable, condition matters. A pristine, uncirculated penny is worth way more than one that looks like it's been through a war. Now, let's talk about finding one. Odds are slim, but hey, stranger things have happened, right? People have found these in old collections, piggy banks, and even couch cushions. The key is knowing what to look for and staying patient. And if you do find one, first, don't scream too loud. Second, get it authenticated by a professional coin grading service. The last thing you want is to think you've hit the jackpot, only to find out it's a fake. Trust me, it's like finding out your favorite pizza place is closed on a Friday night. Oh, there you have it. The 1964 D. Lincoln penny is proof that sometimes the smallest things can hold the biggest surprises. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just someone who likes a good treasure hunt, this is your sign to start checking your change. Who knows? That penny in your pocket could be worth more than your car. Before you go, let me ask you this. What's the coolest or weirdest coin you've ever found? Drop it in the comments. I'd love to hear your stories. And if you want more tips on coins worth big money, strategies to spot hidden gems, or just some fun, coin-related banter, hit that subscribe button and turn on the notifications. Have you ever found yourself digging through your spare change, hoping to stumble upon something special? Well, grab your magnifying glasses because today, we're diving into the fascinating world of the 2018 D Mint Mark Lincoln penny. Yes, a penny. That's worth a jaw-dropping $1.9 million. That's right, folks. A coin you could have tossed into a vending machine could have instead made you a millionaire. Stick around because I'm spilling all the juicy details on why this tiny treasure is worth a fortune and how you might just find one. So, what's the deal with this penny? First, let's talk about the basics. The 2018 Lincoln penny with a D Mint mark was struck at the Denver Mint. It's part of the Shield Cent series that replaced the old Lincoln Memorial design in 2010. But this specific penny? Oh, it's got a secret that sets it apart. Here's where it gets crazy. The 2018 D penny we're talking about wasn't just any ordinary penny. This one had a major error. Imagine this. You're working at the mint, churning out coins all day, and bam, something goes wrong. Maybe the die is misaligned, or maybe there's a planchet error. Whatever it was, this mistake turned an ordinary coin into a one-of-a-kind masterpiece. Collectors go wild for these kinds of errors because they're rare, like finding a sock that matches rare. This penny sold for $1.9 million at auction. That's not just life-changing money. That's generational wealth. And before you ask, no, you can't just slap your regular penny on eBay and ask for millions. The condition of the coin is everything. This particular penny was graded as a near-perfect specimen by PCGS, one of the top coin grading services. Basically, it was the Leonardo da Vinci of pennies. Let me tell you a quick story. A few years back, I found a penny in my car's cup holder that looked weird. It had this strange scratch across Lincoln's face, and I got so excited thinking it might be worth something. Turns out, it was just damage from being run over by a lawnmower. Classic me, right? But hey, it got me into coin collecting, and now I'm obsessed. Moral of the story? Always check your change. You never know what you might find. So, how do you know if you've got the golden ticket, penny? First, look for that D mint mark under the date. Then, check for anything unusual. Off-center strikes, double dies, or even weird colorations. And if you think you've got something special, don't just keep it in your sock drawer. Get it professionally graded. Trust me, that $50 grading fee could be the best investment you ever make. All right, folks, that's the scoop on the 2018 D Mint Mark Lincoln penny. A little piece of copper that's worth a whole lot of cash. Who knew that the key to becoming a millionaire might be sitting in your pocket right now? So, what are you waiting for? Go check your change jars, and don't forget to come back and tell me if you strike it rich. And hey, before you head off to start your treasure hunt, do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I've got tons more tips, tricks, and stories about coins worth money, and trust me, you don't want to miss them. Hey, what's up, coin lovers? Now, I know what you're probably thinking. What's so special about a penny? I mean, we toss those things around like they're worthless, right? Well, hold on to your wallets because today we're talking about a penny that's worth $1 million. Yep, you heard me right. This isn't a typo, and no, I haven't lost my mind. I'm talking about the elusive 2014 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. The penny that could turn your loose change into a small fortune. So grab your magnifying glasses and your coin jars, because this one's going to be a wild ride. Now, I know you're probably thinking, a penny? Really? This guy's lost it. But hear me out. I get it. We see pennies everywhere. You pick them up from the ground, throw them in the jar, and forget about them. But what if I told you that one specific penny, the 2014 penny with no mint mark, could be worth $1 million? Yeah, your loose change might just have the secret sauce to make you a millionaire. And no, it's not some sort of get-rich-quick scheme. This penny is legit, and I'll explain why. First, let's talk about what makes a coin valuable in the first place. It's usually all about rarity, condition, and historical significance. Most of us know that coins are produced at the U.S. Mint in different locations. For instance, the Philadelphia Mint mark is usually denoted by a P, while the Denver Mint mark shows a D. The 2014 penny, however, didn't have a mint mark. And that's what makes it super rare, because normally, all pennies have a mint mark. Now, you're probably wondering how a penny with no mint mark even gets out into circulation. Good question. The 2014 penny with no mint mark was actually an error. The U.S. Mint intended for it to have a mint mark, but some of the coins got out without one. And when you have a mistake like that, boom, it's worth money. The fewer there are of something, the more valuable it becomes. But here's the kicker. It's not just any 2014 penny that can fetch a fortune. You've got to be looking for the perfect condition coin. That means no scratches, no wear and tear, no signs of too many rolls in your pocket. If it's in near mint condition, you could be looking at a coin worth upwards of $1 million. That's more than most of us make in a lifetime now. Don't go emptying your piggy banks just yet. The market for these coins is competitive, and to find one in pristine condition is like finding a needle in a haystack. But trust me, it's worth the effort. Imagine finding a 2014 no-mint mark penny, taking it to a dealer, and walking out with a small fortune. It's like winning the coin lottery. Let me tell you a little story. One time, I was digging through some old change at a flea market, and I found a coin that I thought was just a regular old dime. It was dirty, worn out, and didn't even look like it had much value. I almost tossed it in the just give it away pile, but something told me to look closer. I took a second glance, cleaned it up a bit, and bam! It turned out to be a rare vintage dime worth hundreds of dollars. Now, I'm not saying this is going to happen to you, but the moral of the story is this. Always check your change. You never know what's hiding in there, so there you have it, folks. The 2014 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny could be your golden ticket to $1 million payday. If you find one of these, make sure to keep it in the best condition possible and get it appraised. And while you're at it, start checking your loose change and old coin collections because you never know when the next hidden treasure might pop up. Before I let you go, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. I've got tons of tips, tricks, and strategies to help you find valuable coins that could be worth a lot more than you think. So hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for more ways to turn your change into big change. You're rummaging through your pocket change. Maybe you're at a gas station or your local coffee shop, and you come across a penny that's been through the wars, scratched, dirty, and probably squished by a car tire at some point. But wait, what if I told you that penny might be worth more than your entire lunch? I know, it sounds too good to be true, right? Well, buckle up because today we're talking about the 1985 D-Mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. Yes, that little copper disc you probably toss in the tip jar or throw in a jar at home could actually be worth up to $1.1 million. No, I didn't just pull that number out of thin air. Stick around, and I'll tell you why this penny is worth more than just its face value. A penny? Seriously? But trust me, this isn't just any ordinary penny. The 1985 D-Mint mark penny has a special place in the coin collecting world. You might find it hard to believe, but in the right condition, this coin could get you closer to a lot of money. And by a lot, I mean $1 million, okay. Maybe not a full million, but it's close. Let me break it down for you. First, a little history. The 1985 penny was minted in Denver, which is why you'll see that D-Mint mark right next to Abraham Lincoln's profile. It's got all the classic features of the penny we know and love. Lincoln on one side and the iconic Lincoln Memorial on the other. But here's where it gets interesting. Over the years, a small handful of these 1985 D pennies made it into circulation with a serious error. Now, I'm not talking about some tiny little smudge. We're talking about a double die error, one of the most sought-after mistakes in coin history. This happens when the coin is struck more than once, creating a double image in the design. If you're lucky enough to find one of these error pennies, you could be holding onto a coin worth thousands, if not millions of dollars. But hold on. Let's pump the brakes here. Not all 1985 D pennies are worth that kind of cash. Just like finding a four-leaf clover, these double die pennies are rare. Really rare. And finding one in mint condition? Even rarer. So how can you spot one of these potential million-dollar coins? Well, first things first, don't expect it to be shiny and new. These pennies are usually circulated, so they're going to have some wear and tear. The best way to spot the double die is by closely examining the lettering and the date on the penny. If you notice that the numbers or letters look a little, well, off, like they've been stamped twice, then congratulations. You might have just found a double die penny. It's got that iconic doubled look, and trust me, collectors are willing to pay top dollar for it. But before you start searching through every penny in your jar or diving into your couch cushions, and believe me, I've been there, keep in mind that condition matters. A well-worn coin with a double die error is still worth something, but the real big bucks come from those in near mint or mint condition. Here's a little personal story to illustrate what I mean. A few years ago, I was hanging out with a buddy, and he was telling me about his accidental coin collection. He had an old jar full of pennies, and he showed me one he thought was pretty cool. An old, battered 1985 penny. I remember thinking, yeah, that's cool, but it's just a penny. Flash forward to a year later, and I get a call from him. He had taken it to a local coin shop and found out it was a 1985 D double die. He sold it for a couple $1,000. I was floored. Moral of the story, don't overlook those just pennies. Start checking your pennies. Look for the 1985 D mint mark, and then examine the date and lettering. If you find one that looks like it has a double die error, don't just throw it in the jar and forget about it. get it appraised, and hey, if you do find one that's worth some serious dough, make sure to hold on to it with care. Store it in a protective case. No one wants their future millionaire penny scratched by their keys or coffee cup. Start looking through those pennies lying around the house, or even better, ask your family and friends to check their loose change. And if you do find a 1985 D double die, let me know. I'll be right here, waiting for your story, because who knows? Maybe you're the next big coin star. If you enjoyed this coin tip and want more inside secrets on how to spot valuable coins and make your collection worth way more, hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you don't want to miss out on more tips and tricks that could make your coin jar the next gold mine. Do you have a jar of pennies sitting around, and every time you find one, you just toss it back in? Well, hold on to your pennies because I'm about to tell you about a coin that could turn your spare change into a fortune. Imagine this, a 1994 penny, no mint mark, worth not just a few cents, but $1.2 million. Yup, you heard that right, $1.2 million. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you might just start looking at your loose change a little differently. Alright, let's break this down. So, you're probably wondering, what's so special about a 1994 penny? We've all seen them. They're just regular pennies, right? Well, it turns out, in the world of coin collecting, nothing is as simple as it seems. The 1994 penny, in most cases, isn't worth more than a penny, obviously. But here's the kicker. There's a rare 1994 penny that doesn't have a mint mark. The mint mark is that little letter, D, S, or no letter, that tells you where the coin was made. Most coins from 1994 will have a mint mark, but for some strange reason, a tiny batch was made with no mint mark at all. And that little mistake is what's making this coin so valuable. Now, let's get into the real fun. Why is this penny worth a whopping $1.2 million? Well, first off, it's all about scarcity. There are only a handful of these coins in existence, and as with most rare items, scarcity drives the value up. The 1994 penny without a mint mark is one of those oops coins that collectors dream about finding. It's not like you're going to go into your pocket and suddenly discover one of these. But hey, it never hurts to check. A few years ago, I was at a yard sale, and I noticed a bowl of pennies for just a couple of bucks. Now, I don't normally get too excited over pennies, unless they're chocolate ones, but I couldn't resist. I took a glance at the bowl and started picking through them, just for fun. Nothing fancy, just the usual copper and zinc mix. But then, I saw it. A 1994 penny. I thought, could it be? Is this one of the rare no mint mark pennies? My heart raced. I picked it up, gave it a close look, and nope, it had a mint mark. No $1.2 million for me that day. But hey, it's all about the thrill of the hunt, right? Now, the people who have found these rare 1994 pennies with no mint mark have made headlines because they sold for mind-blowing prices. I mean, a penny that could be worth more than a car? That's pretty wild. And here's the thing. The coin's value is determined by a few factors: condition, authenticity, and whether or not it has that elusive mint mark or lack of one, in this case. So, what should you be doing now? Keep your eyes peeled. If you have a 1994 penny, it's time to do a double take. Look for that mint mark or, more importantly, check if it's missing. If it is, congratulations, you might have a small fortune in your pocket. But don't expect to find one under your couch cushions. These pennies are rare, and finding one in circulation today is about as likely as finding a unicorn at your local Starbucks. But you never know. And if you do find one, make sure to get it authenticated. There are professional services out there that can verify its value. Don't just assume you've struck gold. Make sure it's the real deal before you start planning your vacation to the Bahamas. Alright, folks, let's wrap this up. If you've got a jar of pennies at home, don't just toss them aside. Take a second to sift through them. You might not find a $1.2 million penny, but you could still stumble upon something valuable. And who knows? Maybe your next pocket change could be the one that makes you a millionaire. Hit that subscribe button. You'll get all the latest tips and tricks on rare coins, what to look for, and maybe even how to turn that dusty old coin collection into something worth serious cash. Stay tuned, and who knows? Maybe your next coin discovery will make headlines. Keep hunting, and as always, keep your change close and your rare finds even closer. Ever come across a penny and thought, it's just a penny? Well, Hold on to that thought, because you might be sitting on a tiny gold mine without even knowing it. Picture this. What if I told you that one single penny from 1964 with absolutely no mint mark could be worth a whopping $1.3 million? Yeah, you heard me right. Million with an M. So grab your change jar, because today we're diving into the story of the 1964 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny and how it could just make your wallet very, very happy. But before we get into it, I'll tell you a little secret. This is the type of coin story that might just make you think twice about tossing that jar of pennies into the change jar bin. You never know when you might strike gold. All right, let's rewind the clock to 1964. The US Mint was cranking out coins like nobody's business, but something strange happened that year. You see, every penny produced by the US Mint normally has a mint mark, either a D for Denver or an S for San Francisco. But in 1964, for a very short period, some of these pennies came out without a mint mark. And that, my friends, is where the magic happens. So why does a missing mint mark make this penny so valuable? Well, it's all about rarity and mistakes. You see, a coin without a mint mark in 1964 wasn't supposed to exist. It was an error, a mistake by the mint, but a beautiful mistake for collectors. These error pennies are now extremely rare, and a single 1964 no mint mark penny can be worth as much as $1.3 million at auction. Yeah, that's more than most of us make in a lifetime. Unless you're secretly Jeff Bezos, in which case, hey, Jeff, if you're watching, I've got a coin for you. Now, let's talk a bit about the value here. So, if you find one of these 1964 no mint mark pennies, what should you do? Well, first of all, don't just throw it into your wallet like it's any other penny. No, no, no. You need to keep it safe, take it to a professional for an evaluation, and maybe even send it off for grading by one of the big coin grading companies like NGC or PCGS. If it checks out as authentic and in great condition, you could be looking at a small fortune. But hold on, not every 1964 penny without a mint mark is going to be worth $1 million. The condition matters a lot too. If it's been through the washing machine, dropped in a puddle, or used as a chew toy for the family dog, the value is going to drop faster than your new phone's battery percentage. But in pristine condition, well, that's where the magic happens. Let me tell you a quick personal story. So, a couple of years ago, I was cleaning out my old drawer, you know, the one with random coins, buttons, and that receipt from a pizza place I swear I paid for a month ago. Anyway, I found a few pennies and thought, meh, maybe I can buy a soda with these. But something caught my eye. One of the pennies had a little extra shine. It didn't have a mint mark, and I thought, could this be? Well, it wasn't. It turned out to be just a weird, dirty penny, but I held on to it because, hey, you never know. Long story short, even if it's not a 1964 no mint mark, I keep checking my change jar now. You've got to keep your eyes peeled, because you never know when the next big find might be in your pocket. So there you have it. If you find a 1964 Abraham Lincoln penny without a mint mark, don't just toss it aside. It could be worth more than your car, your vacation, or your coffee habit combined. Okay, maybe not your coffee habit. That stuff is expensive, but you get the idea. Now, if you enjoyed learning about this million-dollar mistake, make sure to hit that subscribe button, because I've got more tips on rare coins, how to spot them, and how to make your change jar work for you. Seriously, you don't want to miss out on the next big find. And if you've got any cool coin stories or questions, drop them in the comments. I love hearing from you. We uncover some of the coolest treasures hiding right in your pocket. You might want to take a second look at that jar of pennies you've got sitting around, because today we're talking about a penny that's worth way more than its face value. I'm talking about the 1971 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. Yep, you heard that right. This penny could be worth up to a staggering $1.40 million. Now, you're probably thinking, how is that even possible? Trust me, I had the same reaction when I first heard about it. But before you start rummaging through your couch cushions, let me walk you through everything you need to know. You might have a hidden gem sitting in your change. All right, so let's break this down, step by step. What makes the 1971 no mint mark penny special? First off, the US Mint produces coins at different mints, typically in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Most pennies from 1971, like many years, have a mint mark indicating where they were made. However, some 1971 pennies have no mint mark at all. This is where things get interesting. If you're staring at your 1971 penny and it doesn't have that little D, Denver, or S, San Francisco, you're holding a rare coin. Now, don't get too excited just yet. It's not every 1971 penny without a mint mark that's worth millions. But it is the scarcity and certain conditions of these coins that make them so valuable. Now, let me tell you, when a coin has no mint mark from a year it was expected to have one, it creates this weird anomaly that collectors go crazy for. In the case of the 1971 no mint mark penny, it's believed that some were accidentally struck at the Philadelphia Mint without a mint mark, which is incredibly rare. These pennies never meant to be minted this way, but they ended up being a little mistake with a big payout. There are only a few known examples of these 1971 pennies that have no mint mark. As a result, they've become the holy grail for coin collectors. The value? As of now, the highest known sale was a 1971 no mint mark penny that went for around $1.4 million at auction. That's right, a single penny. So, how can you tell if you've got one of these hidden gems? It's actually pretty simple. You'll need to check the date and look for the absence of any mint mark, which would normally be near the bottom right of Abraham Lincoln's shoulder. If you find a penny from 1971 and there's no mint mark, you might have something worth checking out further. While there are some of these rare pennies out there, don't go assuming every single 1971 penny without a mint mark is worth a fortune. The coin's condition is everything. It has to be in what's called mint state, meaning it's in really good shape, without too much wear or damage. Okay, let me tell you a quick story to give this some perspective. I remember a few years ago, I found a small jar of coins at a yard sale, and there it was, a jar full of pennies. Now, I didn't think much of it, just another random collection. But as I sifted through, I stumbled across a 1971 penny with no mint mark. I nearly lost my mind. I thought I hit the jackpot. I Googled it like a maniac, checking all the details, and I realized this penny could be worth something. Maybe not $1.4 million, but definitely more than I paid for the jar. After getting it professionally appraised, turns out it wasn't a rare one. It was just another penny, but the excitement of thinking I found a rare one for a few moments was priceless. It's always worth checking your change. You never know when you could get lucky with a coin like the 1971 no mint mark penny. Even if your penny isn't worth $1 million, it might still be worth more than the 1 cent value. Plus, it's fun to imagine what you do with a coin worth a fortune. So, there you have it. The 1971 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. If you ever come across one, get it checked out by a professional because it could be worth way more than you thought. Whether you've got a jar full of pennies or just a random coin from your pocket, keep an eye out for these rare finds. If you enjoyed this video and want more tips on coins that could be worth serious cash, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. We've got tons more coin knowledge coming your way, and who knows? The next coin you find could be the one that makes you rich. You walk into your local coffee shop, order your usual iced latte, and pay with a pocket full of change. You casually toss a penny in your cup holder, never thinking twice about it. Now, imagine that penny, yes, that one, is worth $1.50 million. Sounds like a plot twist from a good movie, right? But it's real. Today, we're talking about the 2000 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny, a coin that could make you a fortune. Stick around, because in the next 25 minutes, I'm going to walk you through everything you need to know about this penny, its value, and how to spot one if you're lucky enough. And who knows, maybe you'll be the next millionaire walking around with a pocket full of copper. Alright, so first things first. What exactly is a 2000 no mint mark penny, and why is it so special? Let's break it down. Normally, every coin minted in the United States has a mint mark, which tells you where it was made. You've probably seen the little D for Denver or S for San Francisco on your pennies. But in the year 2000, something went a little haywire, and some pennies were produced without a mint mark. And trust me, it's not like the mint was slacking off. It's a rare and super cool error that makes these pennies stand out. Now, before you run off to check your wallet and start flipping through every penny you have, let me be clear. It's not every 2000 penny without a mint mark that's worth millions. So, how do you know if your penny is one of the special ones? Check for the no mint mark. Take a look at the front of your 2000 penny. where you usually find a mint mark below Abraham Lincoln's chin. If there's no mint mark, that's the first clue you've got an error coin. But hold on, don't start shouting, "I'm rich," just yet. There's more to it. Step 2. The condition matters. A penny with no mint mark, in terrible condition, isn't going to fetch a fortune. A good quality coin, however, especially one that's in near mint or MS, mint state, condition, is what you want to hold on to. In fact, the most valuable 2000 no mint mark pennies are often graded as MS65 or higher. And here's a fun fact. Coin grading is a bit like getting a report card. You get a grade based on how well preserved your coin is. Think of it as your penny's GPA. And let's be real, who wants a penny with a GPA of C when you could have one with an A? Step 3. Find a good market. Now, here's where things get even more interesting. The current market value of a 2000 no mint mark penny can range anywhere from $1,000 to a whopping $1.5 million. That's right, $1.5 million for the right penny in top condition. This kind of value usually comes from a coin collector or investor who's been searching for that perfect specimen for years. So how does one even find such a rare coin in circulation? Well, honestly, it's a mix of luck and a whole lot of digging through your change jar. I've got a friend, let's call him Joe for anonymity, who found a rare coin in a roll of pennies at his local convenience store. He wasn't expecting much, but when he checked the penny, he couldn't believe his eyes. It was a 2000 no mint mark, but it was in terrible condition. Still, he knew to hold on to it, and it made him a few $100 when he sold it. Step 4. Know the history. So what's the deal with this coin, and why is it worth so much? Well, the 2000 no mint mark penny is a bit of a historical mystery. The 2000 penny was supposed to have a mint mark, but somehow, a batch of them was produced without it. This error created a coin that is not only rare but also part of an interesting chapter in US minting history. And let's face it, who doesn't love a good underdog story? A penny that nobody paid attention to is now one of the most sought-after collector's items in the world. So, what have we learned today? If you've got a 2000 penny without a mint mark, check its condition. If it's in great shape, congratulations. You might be sitting on a small fortune. But even if your penny doesn't reach $1.5 million, it's still a cool piece of history worth holding on to. Coin collecting isn't just about searching for rare coins for big money. It's about learning, discovering hidden treasures, and appreciating the small things. Like that penny in your hand that could tell a story if it could talk. Now, before I let you go, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss out on more tips about coins that could be worth a lot of cash. I'll keep bringing you all the latest strategies to help you build your coin collection, and maybe even help you strike it rich with that one in a million coin.